all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked, Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And today I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with tarot and oracle decks that hit me over the head with their guidance. And I gotta tell you, there are times, I just did a video recently on, the decks that make you cry in the bathroom, those gentle decks that actually, they don't make you cry. They're the decks that you go to when you are crying in the bathroom, that you want that gentle guidance. You want that supportive guidance that's coming through. There are other times, and I don't know if you guys are like me at all or not, but I can talk myself into and out of anything. So there are times when I really need serious, clear, direct guidance that's going to basically, like, I can't explain it away. I can't ignore it. It's super obvious. I like to say, make it so obvious that I can't ignore it. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to explore the opposite of those decks that you need when you're crying in the bathroom. And the first deck that I'm actually going to talk about with this is the Lightseers Tarot from Chris Ann. And I know this deck is, all over the place. Everybody knows it, which is why I've just chosen it first. We can sort of, go through it a little bit because I feel like a lot of people really know what this is all about. But when I am looking for clear, direct guidance, when I am stuck in my head about something and I really need that direction, I need that obvious, here's what you do, here's what you don't do. This is my go-to deck. I love the coloring in it. I love the quality of the deck, the paper. I've got the mass-produced version. I understand that it was a Kickstarter before. I would love to have one of those original first editions of it. Right now, they cost a lot of money to get secondhand, so that's on my wish list. But I just love the fact that it's reversible, even though I don't reverse. The cards are really full, and we've got my favorite. This is actually my favorite death card ever. Period. End of story. And it was the one that was on top, which I think is great. So let's just kind of talk about this. I love this death and rebirth because instead of the skull and the scary Grim Reaper, we've got, the Grim Reaper's cloak. And rather than looking at a skull, we are looking at the portal, the what is to come. We're letting go of all of this other stuff. We're releasing the other stuff because it's old, it's done. And we're moving into something new. And I feel like this is just the perfect way to understand the death and rebirth cycle and to understand the card. And it hits me over the head, not in a violent way. It hits me over the head in I don't need to be scared when this card comes up. I need to recognize that it is coming up and coming through because there's something waiting for me that on the other side of this that is even better than I could have imagined, or is simply the thing that I am waiting for. And the sky is blue and there's a big star in the center of it. And there's hope. There's something that we are looking forward to. And it's a beautiful scene. So we don't have to be scared. So I really love that about this deck. I think Chris Ann did an incredible job. Here's a page of swords. Whenever I get this, I'm going to tell you guys, I struggled a lot in my tarot learning journey to really make sense of what the royal cards mean to me. What exactly is a page of swords? What exactly is the Knight of Wands? There's this idea out there that they represent people. Okay, might represent a person, might not. Let me turn some lights on. Shed a little light on the subject. Okay, maybe not. I got a new camera for clarity, hoping to God it's working. So let's just hold this a little closer. So I love this card because it's giving me the concept of this. She's curious. She's a learner. It's a balancing act. She's balancing on her toes on the swords, which means that maybe she's a little scattered around some of the things that she is, but there's also a lot of confidence around what it is that she's doing. Even though she's a student, she's an old hat at following her heart, following her whims. She's holding all the light bulbs, which, light bulbs symbolize aha moments. There are birds supporting her. There's wind. The wind is swirling around her. Spirit is swirling around her, but also there is movement in the card. So I can't explain this away. I can't mistake it for something else when this one comes up. The Six of Wands. I love this. I always think of J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, when I see this, or Selena. But yeah, Six of Wands. You are standing on the stage. The crowd is reaching out to you, and you're like, "Yay! I just finished this concert. Thank you so much." You know what I mean? Like this, as a former performer. That's what we do. That's why we do what we do. When you're on stage, you feed off of the audience's energy, and you may start a show and be just freaking exhausted. And by the, middle of the show, you are fired up because you're enjoying the process of singing to people or performing for people that are loving it and loving what you have to offer. So I just love this particular depiction. Here we have the Queen of Pentacles. She is calm. She is cool and collected in her own space and in her own place. She's got a lot to offer here. She's holding a big a big pentacle here. She's sitting in comfort and luxury. She's sitting in the lush forest area, which implies a lot of growth and abundance, and she's not worried about a thing. And I love that. Seven of Pentacles, rewards and the burdens that go with it. It took him a lot to get this tree to grow. And now he's seeing that there is some solid growth, and he's still putting a little bit of his, energy. There's healing energy in here that he's putting into it. He doesn't necessarily see all of the root system that has been created underneath, but he knows that it's there because he's been working on it. So, a lot of these messages I feel are just, they kind of, it's like the universal frying pan to the head. If you don't get it, then there's something wrong with you, right? The Lover's card, reflection, right? Making choices, but reflection. And the colors in this deck are so bright. So, with the reflection card, how I see you through my eyes, how you see me through my eyes, how we see ourselves, what we are sharing, what we are reflecting back to each other is how we grow. I love this little arrow tattoo on her shoulder. It's kind of like hitting the target, hitting the mark, not being able to avoid what it is that you're seeing. Justice. I love that, we're seeing a different, speaking of reflection, we're seeing a different reflection, the balance, I want to say the shadow and the light. But there's also this energy of a level of detachment. She's smiling here. She's opening the sword up. She's balancing these, we see the light and the dark that's lit and one that's not lit. But there's no fear here. There's no abundance of emotion. It's, I want to say it's detachment. It's emotional detachment so that you can, evaluate what it is that you're seeing. Here we have another page of Pentacles. And this individual is standing on one foot. Working on that balance, working to be at one and aligned with nature, with source energy, with what we manifest in the physical and in the tangible, which I think is just incredible. So that makes sense to me that Page of Pentacles is on the journey of alignment, seeking to understand themselves as part of the whole. The Ace of Swords, that new beginnings, new thoughts. And I love that it's represented by the Nautilus shell that looks like a staircase. So, the Ace of Swords, I see this as new thought. And when we see the staircase, it's an opportunity for you to be a bit sporadic in exploring that new thought. Where is that new thought coming from? Where is it going? And it's connected to the ascension process. There's a new thought that's going to bring you to a new way of thinking and seeing and feeling things in your life and in your world, if you so choose. Three of Pentacles. There's collaboration here. Each of them has their particular role in what they are creating. And I just think this is incredible. There's attention to the detail in here, but it's also very much that card of not being afraid to ask for help. The Wheel. The Wheel was a major arcana card that I struggled to really connect with. I always felt that it was taking me out of control, which it kind of is. The wheel is basically like you have no control over anything other than your emotions or your feelings or your choices in life. The wheel is life. It's going to bring you, all sorts of things. And it's about how you choose to explore that and sort of move forward. This wheel I love because it's recognizing, it's spinning plates. Life is about spinning plates. And for you, it's about finding your balance and your alignment with it. She's using luck to help her distribute her weight so that she can be on top of whatever this is. It's not that she's trying to change the wheel or change the plates that are coming or change the circumstances around her. She's adapting to what's going on. So I think that's really cool. Here's a King of Swords. He's just so calm, cool, and collected. We have the owl here. There's wisdom. He's a thinker. He's out in the beautiful mountains and in the beautiful fresh air. He's in his element. As above, so below. He's got, the birds that are shadows. He's got the bat, which is listening to the sounds and the frequencies of life, which I feel is part of communication. So when that King of Swords comes up, I know what this card always says to me is rely on your emotional intelligence, rely on what you know to be your truth, and trust that all is well. Give a little extra thought to the how or to the plan, but not overthink and overanalyze. You're already doing all of that work. And then when you release it, let it go and trust that all is well. Here's a beautiful 10 of Pentacles. This is very clearly a legacy card. This is very clearly a celebration card. When you see this, you don't feel lack. You don't feel loss. You feel that there's a sense of camaraderie and companionship that is in this deck. You're seeing kids. So there's new birth, new growth, the potential of new things carrying on. But you also see, I want to say this feels kind of like a grandmotherly energy, with the son and then, the daughter here. And of course, I love the dog. So the dog is in the mix. And this doesn't necessarily have to represent family legacy, but it's the idea that the work that you've put into something is going to lead to other things. And you're already seeing the fruits of that labor. So it's like I can rest and relax in that, trusting and knowing that all is well. Just a couple more cards from this. Ace of Cups. I mean, oh my God, like Ace of Cups is one of those cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot that I always look to for whether or not I'm going to like the deck, right? Like, is this imagery going to speak to me? What is this deck all about? Ace of Cups is beautiful. She's holding the cup to her heart. She's got her hands in there, which of course our Reiki centers, energy centers are with our hands. So she's got those energy centers activating the heart space. She's containing it in a bowl, which I feel is very significant to when we are talking about that pure potential of something new. She's containing it in the bowl right now so she can have a better view, a better look at what it is and what it can be for her. And she's feeling into it, determining whether or not it's something that she's ready to do. Also, her love cup is full and overflowing. That's always a good way to look at it too. Knight of Wands. This is another card that always hits me over the head. This feels like a card of pure joy. She is enjoying herself with abandon. Even her stallion in the back is having a little fun. Like, let's let loose. Yes, there's a purpose to life and we are on a quest, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun while we are on the journey. And I just love this particular depiction in what she's talking about. I'll end with the Fool card. And I love the Fool in this because we've got sacred geometry here going into the pool. The pool of water represents the psychic realm, our ocean of emotion. I like that she's hanging on to this, branch or this twig or whatever, but she's prepared to fall back. She's prepared to she's got her arms wide open. She's prepared to fall back and say, all right, let's do this. She's not even going head first or face first. This is a complete expression of faith and trust and almost the desire for the adventure. And of course, she's got an amethyst crystal in her hands. That is her companion in this particular deck. And I mean, I'm a purple girl, so anytime I see an amethyst, I resonate with that. But it's about going higher, that this next journey is going to take me higher. And we talk about that sort of ascension journey. I also like the fact that she's depicted wearing a yellow dress. Yellow is our solar plexus chakra. This is our identity, mastery, personal power, co-creation. It is about who we are choosing to become. And I feel that this is a choice. Also, the flower of life. I always equate this to Metatron, Archangel Metatron. So looking at this card as well, because I connect with Archangel Metatron, I feel that he's always speaking to me too. And he's one of my heavy hitters. When he comes into my life, I know there's something pretty serious I'm going to have to be dealing with. And I may or may not like it, but it is what it is. All right. The second deck that I chose is called the Elemental Wisdom deck, and this is by Taroteca. I apologize, I don't have the box. I moved recently, and some of the decks that I have, I bought this gorgeous box from the Ukraine, from a Ukrainian tarot box maker. And so I packed away a lot of my other boxes because I keep the decks that I use the most sort of in this box. And every once in a while I switch them up. But look at the beautiful back of this deck. I mean, it's so descriptive, or not descriptive. It's got a lot of detail. It is reversible if you like to read reversals. It's got that beautiful rose petal finish. Very good quality. I mean, I can bend this and it goes right back. I would venture to say that this is very likely water resistant. I mean, I'm not going to test it, but oh my God. Okay. And so we got another death card. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. But isn't that true? Like, this is a card that hits you over the head. You got some serious questions and your mind is a jumble and you're having a hard time really connecting to what your guides are trying to convey to you. This clearly is letting you know, okay, change is a coming. And this this Grim Reaper is taking no prisoners. Like it's dead, done, and over with. And you don't have to be afraid of it, but you need to understand whatever the issue is, something is definitively coming to an end. And what I find really interesting about this one here that hits me over the head is all of the bones. It's like death is acknowledging that have been many other situations where he's taken a souvenir, right? A trophy of all of the different transformations that he has either participated in, or that are like, this might be my personal belt of notch in the belt of different transformations that I've gone through. And that always is a great reminder for me that, okay, I've been here and done this before. I'll get through this. I don't need to be afraid. This is part of a cycle. It's old hat. I don't have to freak out. Graveyards for me, I know some people are really freaked out by graveyards. Graveyards for me bring a sense of peace. So I am a medium, and yes, I can connect with loved ones in spirit. I tend to, that's not my main mode of receiving. I tend to invite them in more so than them coming in. So it's not that I planned it, but the many times that I have lived and moved and done all sorts of things, it's very often that I'm near a gravesite, and I love it because they don't bother me. They're quiet with me. I get a lot more static and noise from my archangels and the ascended masters and my higher guides than I do the loved ones in spirit. So when I see sort of a graveyard, that actually brings me a little bit of peace, because it's like, okay, I can put this to rest and I know that all is going to be well. 9 of coins. Again, first of all, I love the colors in this deck. I love bolder colors. I love the purple here. She's standing in her sovereignty. So even though she's not a queen, I want to say she's very likely a princess or a higher up queen consort who has been afforded a lot of privilege, but she's had to work for it. And that 9 of coins energy is that card of gratitude. And you can see here, she is in her element and she is grateful for everything that she has. She's not saying, ha, 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 nana, nana, boo, boo, I've got more than you do. She's actually sitting here and really saying, hey, I'm so grateful that I've worked hard to grow these vines and to have something to harvest. And why don't you join me? Let's share in my harvest. I feel like that's really, again, a good kind of hit you over the head. The Hierophant is the guide, right? It's the limiting beliefs. It's the tradition. And normally we see the Hierophant being depicted with two followers or prostrators. In this one, he's standing here and he looks a little friendlier to me. He looks like the kind of figurehead that, yes, he understands the importance of tradition, but he's also, I want to say, a little bit open to perhaps shifting things up or throwing a curveball every once in a while. Also, the red, we're seeing the primary red color in here. Red is the root chakra. I feel safe. I feel secure. I have all of my needs met. I not only survive, I thrive. And I feel like this is something that we always want to be doing when we are evaluating our limiting beliefs. What am I believing right now? What story am I telling myself? And is it true? Is it helping me to get to where it is that I need to be? Is that story that I've been telling myself for all these years actually helping me or hindering me? And I feel like that's, where the Hierophant is sort of coming up and coming through. Here we have a Queen of Wands, and of course, different colors. But here she's smiling. She's happy. Again, she's in her element. She's feeling really comfortable and confident with who and what she is. She's not overly emotional in this particular instance. And she's got, I want to say, people around her, fish around her. She's got friends. She's got advisors. She feels at peace. Not everything has to be perfect in order for her to feel confident in what it is that she has to offer the world. Here we have the Emperor, and the Emperor, of course, is the epitome of that divine masculine. And so when I see this Emperor coming up and coming through, because it doesn't have a lot of color, that always speaks to me. It's kind of the universal frying pan to the head that says to me right away, okay, I need to bring a little more color to the situation. Perhaps I am a little too much in my divine masculine and not enough in my divine feminine. It also indicates maybe I need to look behind me or turn around, stop looking from behind, look ahead to the dawning of a new day. What is to come in my life and in my space? Also, when we talk about the Emperor in terms of I don't need anyone's permission to do what, I'm here to do, my birthright, this very clearly states that. I mean, you look at this guy and you're like, I'm not going to mess with him. Whatever it is that he says he wants or needs, let's just let him make it happen, because there's, I want to say, like, you believe that he belongs here. You believe that he has standing, that he has merit, that he knows what it is he's talking about. So I feel like, that's kind of that boom right over the head, that you don't have to mistake what your message is for yourself. The Temperance card, another beautiful depiction that always makes me excited when I'm going through different card decks and things of that nature to see if I'm going to like the card energy. Of course, the colors in here are really beautiful. It is the intuition. It is the high heart energy. And Temperance is an invitation for us to step into that high heart space, to allow ourselves transformation through balance, through tolerance, through alignment of what is transpiring, through the acceptance of the environment that we are in. And we're seeing, a little bit of the daylight or the light coming through in the forest. And we also are seeing the nighttime as well. So as above, so below. We're needing the light and the shadow. It's part of the duality of our existence here on Earth. So when the Temperance card comes up, and in this one in particular, there's the butterfly here, a couple of butterflies. Actually, there are 3 butterflies. So there's transformation that is happening. Recognize that it's happening, but you don't have to go full speed with it. You can bring a little bit of moderation to the experience. Temperance is also about alchemy, and you need, different resources in order to be able to alchemize what is coming up and coming through for you. Here we have the Ace of Coins, planting a seed. And this is very obvious to me. It's, not, I guess we could say cosmic, not galactic, but cosmic energy. We're seeing the stars. Let me see if I can bring that up a little closer so you can see. We have the stars coming up here. We have the large ace of coins that's happening here. We have these beautiful flowers. So again, this is the potential of what can happen. This is what's here, and this is what is to come if you choose to plant it. You're going to get things like this. Are they going to last forever? No, they're not, but that's not what you need to be worrying about right now. What you need to be worrying about right now, or focusing on right now, is planting the seeds so that you have a new journey, the next journey to walk through. I'm going to talk about this card too. Look at this Three of Swords. So Three of Swords is always kind of a graphic card. This one in particular, because it is an actual literal depiction on the inside of the heart shape of a real heart, and what a real heart looks like, with all of the veins and the vessels and I'm not a medical person, so whatever, the biology of it. And then you've got these swords going through it. I mean, you can't mistake that. I often see the Three of Swords as a card of self-care. This card to me is definitely about heartbreak. Somebody has stabbed me in the heart. There are thoughts, there are words that have been exchanged that are wounding my heart space. And I need to take the time to pay attention to my heart space, especially because there's all of this rain, the rain clouds, the storm, the emotion of it all is taking me over. And for me being, I'm a Virgo sun, Gemini moon, and Libra rising. I'm pretty much like an air sign. Like I have 5 billion different signs in air, and then I have one single earth that I think is the only reason why I'm able to actually manifest anything into the physical. But this is definitely that energy to remind me, okay, you got to get into the feels. You can't resolve a heart problem through the head. And yet there are things that are going on in your head that are related to this. So it's a reminder to get into the heart space. Here's another one, the Magician. So what's interesting about this is you're not seeing him in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith way. There are still all of the elements here, but he almost looks like he's, kind of doing something a bit underhanded. I feel a lot more of the manipulation message that comes out of this Magician, or someone who's having to make something on the fly, having to create something in the middle of a crisis. And it's not that he's rushing, but I would say he's really maybe not taking enough time to evaluate what resources he needs. He's thrown it all in because there's maybe a little bit of panic. And so when this Magician comes up and comes through in a reading for me, I take that energy into consideration regarding whatever it is the question is that I have. So it really speaks to me. Here's a Tower card. So, the Tower in general can be, a little dun 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 in the first place. This one is quite beautiful because it's got a lot of different colors. It's showing sort of, like a storm that is coming or brewing. Yeah, we are seeing the Tower being hit by lightning. It's breaking apart, never to, return in its capacity again. But it also looks like it was kind of old to begin with. And so I feel like when I look at this, it's saying, yeah, it's coming down. And maybe it's coming down because you didn't pay attention to the signs beforehand where we told you to let it go. So this is shifting now. And it's not a tisk tisk. It's more of a understand that it's coming down now because it absolutely has to. And there's divine timing and order involved in this. You've been ignoring that. And so now this is how we are handling the situation. Here's an Eight of Coins. Eight of Coins, this is a very obvious message here. He's forging the coins. And yes, he's making a lot of them. So indicating that there is a lot of work and effort, maybe some tedium involved in what it is that we're doing. I often read the Eight of Coins or the Eight of Pentacles as a card of mastery as well. He definitely looks like he is mastered the art of making these coins, and they are all looking the same. They're looking uniform. And I feel like perhaps that's some of the approach of the mastery that comes through with this particular card is what are you doing by rote? Or maybe you're trying to reinvent the wheel, but you should really go back to what you know. So there's a lot of messaging that comes up and comes through. Here's the Sun card. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of the Sun card. It takes a lot for me to really fall in love with the Sun card. This is not my favorite. Mostly because, I mean, it's beautiful. The colors are amazing, gorgeous. I love the red, sort of ribbony, silky, sort of material that's running through everything. The Sun card often is depicted with the child, and a lot of people read it as the inner child card. For me, the Strength card is the inner child card. So when I see this, I'm like, okay, it's a yes, it's a new birth, it's innocence, it's, letting go of all those things that perhaps you've been worrying about, and really just sort of step into the yes and the beautifulness of the day. So, as far as Sun cards go, this is definitely one of my more preferred cards because it has a lot of elements to it. I also really love that there are butterflies in this card as well, implying that even though the sun is the light of truth and it shines a lot in there, it is also reflecting that there's transformation involved in this too. And finally, the Knight of Cups. I love that he's on a dolphin here. His dolphin is his steed, his horse. And he looks a little bit like an idealist. He's a little harlequin-y for my taste, but I mean, that's just the nature of the way that they depict people in this particular deck. And so sometimes I find it a little humorous. It allows me to kind of laugh at myself and to not take life too seriously, which I think is important in a deck that hits you over the head a lot of times with the messaging, but it gets the point across. Mm-hmm. So really like this particular deck for decks that kind of hit you over the head. The next one that I'll talk about here is the Slow Tarot. And this is one that's been out for a couple of years. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. This is Lacey Bryant. Beautiful deck, beautiful box, very solid. This is very much an artsy deck. The artist is like I want to say a museum artist. Her stuff has been featured in museums and things of that nature. Again, we have, beautiful cardstock. It's a little flimsy, but it's also a linen style. So, I mean, it shuffles beautifully. It fans out beautifully. And I feel with the linen decks, they're like deceptively durable. You don't want to do too much crazy stuff with them, but they actually do last. They're pretty good, even though they're a thinner quality and stock. It is reversible. If you like to do reversals. So let's take a look here. Six of Swords. This is often a card where we think of moving on to calmer shores. This is definitely a deck that says to me, oh my God, I am in a fucking storm, a shit storm of shittiness. I'm looking to this lighthouse. I'm looking for a calm in the eye of the storm. I'm looking for the light. I'm looking for the direction. I feel very much the energy of like the phoenix growing phase where I've come out of the burning. I'm still shaken, right? I'm still in kind of PTSD, but I'm also in maybe TSD, and I'm working to find safety and find security. This says that to me in crazy ways that, okay, yeah, I'm on my way out. Whew, I can have a little bit of relief here, but there's still work for me to do. And I still need to keep my eye on the prize, stay aligned with the vision of what it is that I'm trying to create for myself. So that Six of Swords really kind of hits me on the head in the way that it's depicted. I always think of it as a support and grace. And normally there's somebody else in the picture that's helping you. I feel like maybe the bird is guiding you here. A little bit of the light is guiding you, but you're doing it on your own. And I feel like that, that's saying something. There's a lot to be said for that. The World card, I love this, that it's a depiction of the solar system and our place in the solar system. So reminding us that even though we come full circle in the world, it's the indication of the ending of the fool's journey, but also the beginning of something else. But you have something new to add, more information, more knowledge, more awareness. But it's also, again, awareness that A, we're not alone. B, it's not always about us. There are other people in the world. There are other people that we interact with and engage with that give us the opportunity for this growth, or give us the opportunity to understand them a little bit better and their place in our world and in our life. So you can't really mistake that, right? It's not just a singular focus. Like in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you see the woman in the laurel wreath and things all around her. That's not what this is. This is a little bit different. And of course, there's a beautiful candle in the center of all of this. You are the light. You can bring the light. And I think that's really important. This is a really cool one here that always stands out to me. We have the Two of Coins. So Two of Coins, it's about balance, right? And typically we see the infinity sign. Well, instead they've got a number 8. It's like her, jersey number kind of thing. And yeah, she is balancing, but there's water coming down on the floor, and who knows what she's trying to decide, but she's distracted in trying to decide that. And the emotions are affecting that. She's maybe not so tuned into ocean of emotion. She's a little bit unaware of how her emotions are affecting this choice and this balance. So I would say when I look at this, I'm like, okay, just like turn the water off, like pay attention, turn the water off, and then try to make your decision, because the decision's still going to be there. You'll be able to find the balance, the harmony. You'll be able to get the resource as well, but you got to not be in your head. Like here, she's overthinking and the bathtub is spilling over. So, again, hitting you over the head with the message. You can't miss the message. Oh, sorry. Here we have the Sun card. So another Sun card. And this is not your traditional, typical Sun card. In fact, the sun isn't even really fully reflected here, except for a little bit in the background. What we're seeing is the sunflowers, and this little girl is playing in the sunflowers. So perhaps in this card, when I see this card, yes, she's having fun, but I want to say the light of truth is not necessarily shining down on what it is that I'm looking for. And it might be an invitation to look a little deeper, to get out of the sunflower space and bring a little more light into the mix. And I feel like the black bird is flying over, because that's really the issue that we need to be looking at. And she's distracted, not necessarily in an unpleasant way, but she is distracted. And that bird is still there, needing attention, needing to be acknowledged. Okay, we're getting some repeats here. Queen of Coins. So loving this Queen of Coins, there's a lot going on this card, which symbolizes that abundance, a lot of resource. She's got her own little, I want to say, sacred space here, a sacred altar. She's not hiding it. She's not keeping it secret. She's willing to share it with others. And she's saying, hey, this is how I manifest. I do these rituals, I do this thing and have the stuff show up. And not only am I happy to share my abundance with you, I'm also happy to teach you how you can create your own abundance. And I've always seen the Queen of Coins as a teacher in that regard. Here we have a Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles. Very fitting. The Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the deck that takes it slow. Every other knight is busy, focused, doing their own thing. The Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Coins, you can rely on them. They'll get there eventually, but they might get there a couple of minutes late. They'll bring you what you need. They might be a little late to the fight, but in the end, they're there with you. And it's because they take time to stop and smell the roses. And that's exactly what this guy is doing here. So it hits you, it hits you over the head. Heart-based, he's driving a green car, so he's driven by his heart, motivated by his heart space. He can go fast if he needs to, but he's not wired that way, so he's not going to do it all the time. And he enjoys a little bit of the storm. It's recognition that we need the storm in order to appreciate the light. Two of Cups. Oh, beautiful. So it's the soulmate card, right? And what's interesting about this depiction is this man does not look very happy. He's very stern looking. He's not thrilled about this whole experience. And it almost looks like she's placating him a bit. Here, have a little bit of tea. Like, just relax, lover. Everything's going to be okay. Look at where we're at. We're surrounded in this beautiful garden. He's maybe a little uncomfortable because roses have thorns, and he's probably got a thorn sticking out his ass. And he's a little bit uncomfortable with it. And he's like, listen, I'm all for the romance, but this is stretching a little beyond my beyond my comfort zone. And she's saying, please just go with it. Everything's going to be okay. Like just let loose and have some fun. How interesting that if I were to pull this card in a reading and get the Two of Cups, and admittedly, I have not yet gotten this card. So I'm giving you the description as I'm looking at it right now. If I were to pull this in a reading, instead of saying, oh yay, this soulmate energy, or the combined contract, or the duality of things, I would say, okay, this is a duality. This is also an indicator that there might be something, a conflict or a disagreement that comes up that needs to be addressed, either with my divine masculine and divine feminine within me, or with someone that I am in partnership with. And it can also be just soulmate, and you don't have to have romance to be in a soulmate dynamic. So soulmates needing to stretch outside the box to communicate with one another, to really come to terms with what is really going to align in that moment. So again, it hits you over the head. And speaking of, here's the Lovers card. And here you see that they've come together, right? So whatever was going on in that Two of Cups, now they've come together, and there's more of a reflection of what's going on. It's at nighttime. So there are things that are maybe a bit hidden or a bit obscured, but they're bringing their own light. It's an intimate energy. And I feel like if I was pulling this card, there would be some intimacy in the message. Here we have the Nine of Wands. And I love this because Nine of Wands often is about a card of control. It's a card of resilience. And, she looks like she's a really hard worker. She looks haggard. She looks tired in the eyes, like she really needs some sleep. But she's also recognizing, okay, I need one more, just one more, and then I'm done. So she's looking behind her to almost like rally the strength to be able to move forward. And you could say, oh my God, just take a rest. You can get the other one tomorrow. Or you can look at this card and say, all right, yeah, rally the energy. It's time to move forward. From a control perspective, I would say, I don't get a ton of control other than maybe you are a little out of control in how you're taking care of yourself. And let's take a look at that. So just so many really great, like over the head messages with this deck. The Hermit. So the Hermit is that deeply personal, deeply intimate self-awareness journey. It is the emotional and the reflective internal deep dive. People can hold your hand while you're going through it. Actually, they can't hold your hand. They can support you, and on the phone, through text, they can support you. But ultimately, where you're going, they can't go. This is about you. This is for you. This is through you. And I love that it's connected to a tree. He's sitting under the tree. He wants to become the tree so that he can understand the tree. He can understand himself in relation to the tree. Again, we have a black bird in the background, symbolizing the as above, so below, the shadow, as well as bringing the shadow to light, to the surface so that we can learn it. And he's fine with working with whatever light is there and available to him. This is a tiny little lantern. It's a tiny little oil lamp. He doesn't need a ton of light because he's not trying to examine his external world. He's trying to go within. And I feel like that's exactly what happens with this Hermit is, just trust that the light that you have is enough to give you what it is that you need for your own journey. Here we have the Seven of Cups. And what an interesting depiction of the Seven of Cups here. You have cups hanging from a tree. And she's going into the forest, and it's the forest at night, or maybe during a little bit of a storm. So there's not a ton of light. It's not obvious what it is that she's looking at. She's going to have to get a little bit closer to each of the items in order to figure out what her choices actually are. And that hits me over the head. It says, okay, you're overwhelmed with the concept of choice, but you're also not taking the time to get closer to what those choices actually are. So this in a reading would give me that indicator that I need to do a bit more of a deep dive examination of what my choices actually are. And are they really going to get me to where I want to be? Atonement. So this is actually an extra or a bonus card in the deck. Let's see if I can bring it a little closer to you so you can see the details of it here. And I love this deck. I do love the deck, but I love this card because what it basically says to me here is like, she's got all of this abundance. She's having this lovely picnic, and the atonement comes in. You know what? I have all of these things, and maybe I deserve it. Maybe I don't. Maybe there are some things that I need to let loose on. And so I'm going to take this big, bountiful, bread, and I'm going to feed the geese and duck because they actually helped me to get to where it is that I am today. I love the pomegranate in here. The pomegranate symbolizes the underworld and life after death, life in the underworld, the richness of what life can become. And I just love this whole thing. It's coming to terms with your life, your choices, and accepting, okay, I chose the human path. I chose this journey, and it's okay for me to be at one and be at peace with it. Here's another one that hits you right over the head, the Ten of Swords. I mean, there's no mistaking the fact that this woman is dead on the floor in a very violent way. And while I do not like this imagery, it's very disturbing. The disturbing, I feel, is the point. When I get a Ten of Swords, when I'm reading from this deck, the message that I'm going to get around what it is that has died and is going away is the message is about, maybe it's happening in a way that I'm feeling a little more victimy, or that it is happening in a way that is very uncomfortable for me. Maybe it's a very clear message that I keep trying to hold on. I keep trying to save an unsavable situation, and I need to release it. I need to let it go. So there's a lot that is happening here in terms of messaging with this card. And we'll wrap up here with Five of Wands. Beautiful. All the kids coming together. They look like they're having a lot of fun. They're playing, they're learning. And I feel like this is a depiction of what life is really about. We're all a bunch of kids playing from a spiritual perspective. And some of us are having more, I want to say more conflict. We're in conflict at this time. We want to express anger, or we want to experience anger and rage. Some of us are like, oh, let me just learn how this wand works. And, let's pretend that we're angry with each other, or let's pretend, that we're fighting. And we're all of these things at various different times in our lives. And I feel like that Five of Wands, when it's coming up, I always see it as a card of focus or a card of scattered energy. And I see here that it's a reminder to overlay the game of life on the situation that you're looking at. What part am I playing? What role am I playing here? What is it that I'm actually trying to learn in this situation? Because it's a shift in perspective from that regard. And that's where I can get the resolve of the situation. So that is the Slow Tarot. Definitely a deck that I like to say kind of just like hits you over the head. Here's another one. This is a fairly new one to me, and it is called the Four Tails Tarot. And this is such a unique deck. This is by Taroteca. It's such a unique deck. It is only the major arcana, but it is 4 sets of the major arcana. So you get 4 different experiences and feelings. And first of all, like, it's so cool. It's like a book. It opens like a book. It's magnetic. Very solid. Each of the 4 are depicted by a different color scheme and background. Here, let's see if one of each is right on top. So let's take a look at that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is also rose petal feel to the cards, very much in that Taroteca style. I almost want to say it feels a little water resistant, though I'm not interested in testing out that particular theory. And you can see the different decks depicted in the different card backs. Everything is reversible. And let's just flip these over and sort of see what we get. So Temperance and the Star, how interesting. Those are often similar. And the Sun and the Lover's card. So because we've got one of each, you're seeing the different style in the card deck itself. So Temperance, this particular one is a black and white. a version of the Fool's Journey. The Star card, again, a different version, different color scheme that's being used. This one here with the lovers, it's a little more cartoony, a little kind of vintage cartoony. And then the Sun card, we have some of the fantastical energy that's coming through. Let's just flip over a few more here. Here's a Strength, Justice, the Tower, and the Magician. So this deck really does hit me over the head. First of all, I pull it when I've got major decisions to make, because all it has is the major arcana. So it gives me great perspective. And there have been readings where I've gotten 2 Fool cards, for example, back to back. Well, when I look at the one Fool card, what is it telling me? When I look at the other Fool card, what is it telling me? So it's based on it, and it forces you to use your intuition, but it also forces you to use your eyes to look at the elements that are in the card. For example, this tower card is a fairly realistic depiction. You know, she's got her head in her hands. Her partner here is going, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening. We have a dragon that has taken the tower down. And it's not hopelessness. It's more like despair. Like, I wasn't ready to let this go. This particular magician is depicted in navies and subtle oranges and cream colors. So I want to say it's not like particularly colorful, but it is stark in the way that it is presenting itself. And so, you know, that magician has a lot to say in terms of what they are presenting, what they're offering. You know, there's a darker quality to this, things happening in the shadow, things happening at night. The Justice card, black and white. I mean, Justice is black and white too, but let's just do a little comparison here. The Temperance and the Justice. Temperance card here has a skull. You know, so you don't often see 2 people in the Temperance. You often see 2 jugs or 2 cups in the Temperance. Here, death is being mixed with life. She's using the old in order to be able to bring in the new. And this Justice is very, I want to say, stony, immovable. You see skulls, you know, sort of at the base. This is a Justice card that I want to say is not flexible in any way, shape, or form. So we'll just do a few more examples here so you can see the shift in the styles. The Hermit. So this is a hermit that is depicted mostly with the color, the light that comes from the hermit through his hermit journey. You know, he's going deep within, and because of his enlightened experience, he is expanding outward. His light is growing. He doesn't really need the lantern so much. He uses it to support his journey. Here we have the Magician, and this looks like a really mean magician. We were just looking at this guy here, who's a little more thoughtful in what he's doing. He's doing things at night. This guy looks just mean. I mean, his face, he's calculated in what it is that he's doing. Perhaps there's some manipulation here. Perhaps there's anger around him not getting his way and being determined to change his circumstances. The World card, when we look at this World card, so many different animals and, you know, different depictions, people, fairies, angels coming into the mix. You have the astrology wheel. There's a lot that is happening here. And I feel like this World card is busy. It says, okay, you've got a lot to work with here. You know, don't rest on your laurels. Yes, you've arrived, but now there's something new that's coming into the mix. So this deck is just really cool. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I mean, when you have, you know, the cards side by side, it really gives you a different story. And it is a hit you over the head, wallop you over the head with the message kind of deck. And like I said, I can talk myself in and out of anything. So that's always kind of an important one. I'm just going to do a couple more here. That Out of Hand Tarot deck by Jamie Sawyer is a deck that really speaks to me. And I got to tell you, I got this deck in 2022. It was a Kickstarter campaign. And I just did not resonate with it. It's been sitting on my shelf, my tarot shelf, for a couple of years now. And then this year, for whatever reason, I mean, I worked with it a couple of times for readings on my YouTube channel, but never for myself. And then there was just something just a few months ago that called to me about this, and I decided to pull it out. And man, oh man, is it ever speaking to me! And it comes with a nice little guidebook with very short, sweet, and to the point descriptions. It shuffles really well. It's got that rose petal feel again. It's reversible. The card stock and quality is spectacular. It is gilded, which I think is really cool. And it's gilded in a matte yellow to match the back of the card decks. So let's just kind of take a look here. Ace of Wands. So this card is all about hands. You don't see people's faces, you see people's hands. And with the Ace of Wands is that inspired action. And here the wand is being depicted by a paintbrush. And so what do we think of when we do a paintbrush? Like, we're acting, we're using it as a tool to get out of our head what we want to get on paper, to manifest a vision, even if that vision is tiny or just the beginning stages of something. And I just love this. This speaks to me. It's like, okay, he's creating something new. He's painting a little sketch or a little drawing of something because that's what was in his head. And now he's exposing it. He's putting it out into the world. Here's the Star card. So you see the hands pointing out the constellations in the card. Yes, this is a card of vision. I feel like this is also, in this particular depiction, an invitation to come together. Maybe they're taking measurements. Maybe they're looking to say, okay, we want to recreate this on our ceiling in our living room. Let's take some hand measurements, and then we can kind of recreate it. She's pointing and saying, oh, look at that beautiful star there. Oh, and look at that one. Oh, and look at that one. So there's very much about seeking vision from external inspiration is what this particular depiction says to me. Here we have a Seven of Cups. Seem to be pulling some sevens today. Seven of Cups. So there's a lot of choice here. She's clearly looking at all of these different mugs with different things. She's at a carnival or a festival of sorts. She's earned these tickets, and now she has to choose which prize. And I think it's just so fascinating and so creative the way that this deck has really kind of come about, that the hand is there holding the tickets. And yes, there's a choice that needs to be made. And, whenever you have to pick a prize, it's like, oh man, like, do I have to just pick one? And I feel like that's got the energy of what this card is. When the Seven of Cups comes up in a reading with this deck, that's the feeling I'm going to have is, yeah, okay, I'm feeling like I can only choose one at this time. So what is my process for choosing the one that I love the most, or that I need the most, or that's going to serve my purposes the most? So it gives you a different feeling. 18, the moon. So loving this, the dog is being represented here, the dog and the wolf being presented here through the tattoos on the person's arms and hands. But the moon itself is being shown in a mirror image. Yes, we have the water that is being depicted here. There is a lobster that is the handle of the mirror itself, but it is that reflection. It is that intuition. It's about the mystery of things, the unseen. We still have the two pillars here. You can't see what's beyond the pillars unless you actually take the journey outwards. So there's a lot that comes through here in this moon card. And I feel that this moon card speaks to me even more so than like the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith moon card. Here's a Six of Wands. So this is typically a card of victory. What is being depicted here is you're receiving a reward. So there is victory in the reward. There is the laurel wreath here that is saying, yeah, I acknowledge that you've done what you needed to do, but it's someone else giving you the reward. It's not a reward that comes from within. It's someone else giving you the award and the acknowledgement, which I feel is part of that Six of Wands and why it's not a major arcana victory, because it's approval from outside of you. Yes, you're coming to the end of the work on something, or you're going to the next level. There's nothing wrong with receiving praise and accolades for work that you've done from somebody else, but how much stock do you put in that? And I feel like that's the message of that Six of Wands. Here we have a Seven of Wands, and I absolutely love this depiction. It's like the bouncer. You're the star in the dressing room getting ready to go on stage to put your show on. You need someone out there who's bouncing for you, who's not going to let just everybody in. You got to be on the list. This is a card of defense, but it doesn't necessarily need to imply that, there are people that are here to harm you. It's having a boundary, having a wall, having a guardrail that allows you to determine who gets to put on the list and who doesn't. And to have source be able to do that for you, understanding that you don't always have to do that by yourself. Yes, you need to do it for yourself, but you don't need to do it by yourself. You can have help from source energy. Temperance. So here's another depiction of temperance. We have the two cups, blending the energy, the water, mixing it together. We've got ice cubes with some symbols on there. Again, we're not seeing faces, but we are seeing, maybe like a bartender just mixing the drinks up, getting ready to prepare something, maybe for a guest or maybe for themselves. Queen of Wands. Love this card. The ritual, the fire is the focus, the flame is the focus, but she's got her altar. She's got all of the ingredients that she possibly needs. She's got her trusty familial that is here with her, and she's not asking anyone's permission to do what she needs to do for her. She's open to whatever comes, but she is willing to go into that space to connect with source energy, to receive the messages, to receive the guidance that is coming up and coming through. So it's an invitation to go within. And then you can be external about what it is that you've received when you've gone within. So just an incredible deck in terms of hitting you over the head with the message. I can't mistake that message when I'm dealing with this out of hand tarot. One final one that I'm going to share with you that is an oracle deck, not a tarot. And this is Lisa Lister, Self-Sorcery Oracle. And this is great. The colors are incredible. Of course, the guidebook. This is a Hay House. So, the layout of the book is really good. I really like that. The quality of the cards is decent. It's a matte finish. The card quality is pretty decent, pretty thorough. It shuffles really well. And this deck the messages like fully hit you over the head. So not reversible. It is an oracle deck. So not all oracle decks are meant to be read necessarily from a reversal perspective, but it's still really fun. We have this, and I'm not a snake fan, but the fact that this is like a cartoony snake with hearts on it, and you see the tongue in the moonlight. It doesn't offend me. It's not freaking me out. So you have the power to choose. Boom. Look at these colors. She's representing Eve right now. She's got the Aries horns. She's holding an apple. She's got the cherry cheeks or apple cheeks. The snake is a part of her hair coming out. She's got a little bit of that Venus energy going on. And she's saying, you've got the power to choose. Wise one. Okay. So she's got these beautiful daisies wrapped around her neck. In adornment, right? Decorative. Her hair is longer on the one side, shorter on the other. She's got this owl mask. She's also wearing her glasses. So indicating that I can put this mask on or off, however I choose, but I'm choosing right now to see with my 3D eyes. And then when I am ready, I can put my wise one on, right? It's like obvious messaging. Let's choose another one. Know that you know. Beautiful. So the imagery is just powerful. I think the messaging, the subtle messaging or the intuitive messaging comes through in the colors, but the message itself, know that you know. Trust in your knowing. That's what this is all about. Know that you know. Don't second guess yourself. Don't self-doubt. Track your fox scent. So what are foxes? Foxes are tricksters, foxes are also opportunists. And that's what I feel this is about. Track fox scent. Track your opportunities. Step into that space a little bit more. Foxes are seen as wily and tricky, but really, if you think about it, we've moved into their territory. So of course they're going to be opportunistic about the food that they're going to get, because they don't know when they're going to be able to get that food next. They don't know where that next place to rest is going to be. So they're opportunists. And I feel like track your fox scent is coming up to say that I want to create. I'm always going to be creating, but I need to take the opportunity to do it rather than waiting for the right opportunity. I need to step into it. I have no idea if that is the message of the oracle. Actually, why don't we just do a quick little read of that? I'll show you the other one here. Let your heart be your compass. So track your fox scent. Now, one of the things about this deck that I don't like, and part of it is just my ego-ness, is it's not in alphabetical order. So you have to look at the table of contents in order to find the message. Here it is, 135. Oh, I opened right up to it. So transmission, sniff out your own fox scent. This is the potent scent smell of who you are, what you stand for, and what you value. Your fox scent is the smell of what's underneath it all, your mother-loving true nature. And once you've smelt it, it simply cannot be ignored. And nor should it be. It's the smell of your wildness, rooted at the roots of origin. I won't read the whole thing, but she gives a transformation message. She gives an affirm it. My fox scent is strongest at the edges of my becoming. And then she gives a message, a self-sorcery message, how you can apply that message. So see how I read it intuitively, and there is an alternate meaning and message behind the creation. Here we have let your heart be your compass. Return to the temple. I love this one. It's an invitation to return to yourself. Go back into your roots, into your meditative space for the answers. Reveal yourself. And forever in process and progress. Oh my God, this is so a card for me. I say it all the time. I'm always forever a work in progress. So you can see how these cards just really clearly give you exactly what it is that you need in the moment. You don't need to question at all what the message is that they're trying to tell you. So guys, I could have pulled like another 12 decks for the decks that kind of hit me over the head. But these are the ones that I've got for you today. I hope you really enjoyed this video, enjoyed a little glimpse into the mind of Stacy, into the decks that I truly love and I find inspiring. I hope they have inspired you. Perhaps you absolutely love them like I do. Perhaps you're looking at them and going, yep, not for me. All is good. All is good. And please share in the comments with me any of your favorites, any things that you really liked or that you didn't like about this. And, we're all in this together. And I just love being a part of this tarot and oracle review community. You guys are great. Transform well, and we will see you on the next video. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.